Welcome, third grade students. This is Mrs. Friedberg, and today we are going to talk about more graphs. You are going to need a pencil, your math workbook, and from your math workbook, pages 709 to 711. Go ahead and make sure you have those. As we've been talking this chapter about how graphs are related to each other and how they tell us different information and in different ways. So we're going to look at how bar graphs and scaled picture graphs can be related. Let's look at example number 1. Ishi counted the number of type of fish in her fish tank. The scaled picture graph displays the data. Write a few sentences that interpret the data and then answer the questions. First off, when we're looking at a graph, especially a picture graph, we really want to make sure that we look down here at the key and make sure that we know how much each picture is worth. Sometimes it's worth 1, sometimes it's worth 5, 10, it could be anything. But they have decided that this key, 1 fish equals 2 numbers. So the amount is 2. So when we are counting, each of these fish are going to represent 2. So there are blank jewelfish. To find that out, I'm going to look up here under jewelfish, and I'm going to count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8. So our answer for jewelfish, because the scale is 2, or the key is 2, is 8 jewelfish. Then the number of catfish. Well, if there's only 1 fish and 1 fish equals 2, our answer is 2. Ishi has blank tetras and blank lochies. Oh my gosh, we have a lochie. That's Pickle. And we also have tetras in our tank, and they are doing quite well. So let's look at the tetras. So we have 1 whole, which equals 2, and then it looks like a half a fish. So what's half of 2? Well, that would be 1. So over here we'd have 2 plus 1. So we'd have 3 tetras and blank lochies. So 2, 4. We only have 1. Altogether, Ishi has blank fish. So now we need to add up everything. So what I like to do is go through and count by 2s, and then if there's anything different, I add those at the end. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 16 plus 1 equals 17 fish total. What kind of fish does Ishi have the fewest of? So the fewest of. So I'm going to look up here and see which one has the smallest amount. If we look here, it would say we would be catfish. Ishi has twice as many blank as lochies. Well, so she has how many lochies here? So let's look here. She has 4 lochies, and we need something that's twice as much. So when I see twice as many, what that says is times 2. So I'm going to look at the lochies, which are 4 lochies, and I'm going to multiply it by 2, giving me the answer of 8. Now I need to find a fish that has 8 fish in the tank. So it looks like if I count 2, 4, 6, 8, that the jewelfish would be the fish that has twice as many as does the lochies. So we're right, jewelfish. So So, looking down here at the bottom is where our critical thinking questions are coming into play. Are there more or less jellyfish than catfish, tetras, and loaches combined? Explain. So we need more or less. So we're going to have more, greater than, less than, jewelfish, then all of the others put together, combined. So this can be addition. So one side of our equation is going to have 2, 4, 6, 8. So this can be one side of our equation. We'll put it over here. 8. And I like to put a circle here because then I'm going to know I'm going to put a greater than, less than, or equal to. But I bet it's going to be greater than or less than. And then we have, we're not sure. We need to count everything else together. So let's do that. So we get rid of the jewelfish. We're not talking about those ones anymore. And we count by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8. And then there's that little half one, which means 1. So we'll double check. 2, 4, 6, 8 plus 1 is 9. So we have 9 other fish. So we're going to say that there are less jewelfish than all of the others combined. Explain? Well, we added all the other fish and the answer was 9. You could have something a little bit different than that, but something along those lines work. And as long as you also have this equation problem here. Great. Turn your paper over and let's look at example 2. Does the data change from when it is displayed in a scale picture graph to when it is displayed in a bar graph? So it's asking, does the information change when we move it from a scaled picture graph to a bar graph? Now, the information is the same. We are just going to change how we show it. So, it is still Ishi's fish. But remember, in a bar graph, we go up to the number that is the amount of each fish. So instead of pictures, we're going to make like a bar, a rectangle. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8 fish here for jewelfish. So I'm just going to look at, see where I'm going to go. I'm going to go all the way up here to number 8, and I'm going to draw right down and then fill it in a little bit. So 8 jewelfish. Tetras have 2, 3, and that's going to be in between here. So I'm going to go about right here. I like to start where the mark would be, and that would be 3. 3 tetra, 2 catfish, and 2, 4 lochi. Has the information changed? No. It is just represented differently. So, looking at these following questions, it says the scaled picture graph shows a graph that represents data with, and remember, we don't call them so much pictures because it doesn't necessarily have to be a picture. It's with a symbol. symbol. Okay? Sometimes it's not necessarily a picture. A bar graph represents the data with bars, hence its name. Each scaled picture graph symbol stands for blank fish. So we go to the key, stands for 2. Each bar graph scale interval stands for. Now we're talking about intervals, and intervals is this part right here, right here. So we have 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, and so that is plus 2, right? So the interval of the graph stands for 2 fish as well. So the data does not change when it's displayed on the scaled bar graph. Let's look down here. If the scale of a bar graph above was in intervals of 4, would the information be different? The information wouldn't be different, but the interval would be different. It would be 4 instead of 2. So now we're going to complete the bar graph using the data from the scaled picture graph. Again, we need to look and see what our key is down here, how much each is worth, 5. And in this one, we go to the right. So, stars on homework. And what are we wanting to find out? Is how many stars. So these numbers here are how many stars, right? It's how many stars. Just like if you look up here, this part of the graph is labeled fish. This part of the graph is labeled number. So these are the students. These are how many stars the students are getting. So remember, each star is worth 5. So now we're going to count by 5s. So Zoe has 5, 10. I'm going to look over here at the 10, and I'm going to do just like I did with my other bar graph. I start at the line that I'm going to measure to, and then fill it in. Lila has 5 stars. So she is here. And we're going to fill it in. And John, he is impressive. 5, 10, 15, 20 stars. So he's going to be way out here. He must work really hard. And your graph should look like that. Make sure you're labeling the information that is collected when you are looking at the intervals on a bar graph. Excellent. Now you are just going to do the same that we've just been doing, is transferring the amounts using the key and graphing it, going to the point that it measures up. So for Lucy, that would be 2, 4. I go up 2, 4 and down. For here, you're going to say, you get to draw the symbol equals 3 movies. You know, I'm going to put like, I don't know, maybe like a movie camera, something like this. Maybe to equal movies, up to you. And then you're going to draw whatever symbol you create for how much the bar graph shows. Going down to number 4, complete the tally chart that may have been used to create this picture graph. So this is going to be a tally chart. And remember, with a tally chart, we use tally marks. Still the same title. Oops, ran out of room. And we're going to label it spring, summer, fall, winter. All right. And we don't need a key for our tally marks. So we're going to look at how many of these are worth. There are 5 votes. So 5, 10, 15. So remember we go, let's see if I can, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we bar them together, bundle them up. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 15. So representing the information from here over on this tally chart. Excellent. And I think that you'll be able to use this tally chart to make a picture graph and to make a bar graph that goes with it. Excellent. Good luck on all your graph making. I know you will be excellent graph makers.